couple of guests in front of us right now. Troy Weatherhead is the quarterback of this football team, and Andre Holmes, obviously, the wide receiver. Boys, thank you for your time.
Thanks for having us.
I'll start with you, Andre, because I feel like I'm one of your biggest fans. Every Saturday you showing up, and the amount of progress that you made from your freshman year to now, you are a certified weapon in the GLIAC Conference now, and teams have to be prepared for you when they play on Saturdays. Just talk about the progress from when you were a younger player to now and how much you've been able to improve.
Well, when I came here, I remember in high school I was pretty much just running routes, just running straight lines, coming back to the ball, not really knowing exactly like how to set up the defensive backs. But Coach Fagan, who was offensive coordinator last year, he really taught me how to run great routes, and that is a huge part in becoming a better football player and knowing the game more. And just from that, I've just gotten a lot better. And speed-wise and just growing into my body has made me a better receiver.
I don't want to get too cocky. We're knocking on wood right now, but you've also been healthy. I mean, a lot of receivers get a knee or an ankle along the way and miss some time. Somehow you've managed to avoid those kinds of injuries, haven't you?
Yeah.
And that's big. I mean, and some of the credit goes to the training staff and all the rest, but to be able to stay out there on the field and healthy is a big part of it. Talk about this guy before we give the microphone to Troy. Just talk about your QB a little bit.
Well, Troy and I came in together our freshman year, and pretty much from the start we had a little connection on the field. You know, just going scout team against first team defense as a red shirt. And just then, you know, our receiver coach, Steve Otterbein, he was a senior when we were freshmen. He was telling me how, you know, he hated going against Troy and I because we would torch him a lot, you know. And so, yeah, and now Troy and I are really good friends, you know, best friends, and there's definitely a connection on the field.
Yeah, similar hairstyles. That's one thing that stands right out. Troy, I'll pass the mic over to you for a minute. Number 19 with us, or number 16 with us, I'm sorry. Named one of the offensive captains this year. Obviously you and Phil and Nick Hixson. That's got to be a great honor.
Oh, yeah. You know, since I've been a freshman here, seeing my predecessor and now quarterbacks coach Mark Nicolay, he was a captain, and you know, we just got a chance to talk about this a little bit, but you know, getting voted by your peers, by your teammates, team captain's a huge honor, and you know, just learning to become and maturing, you know, the person and quarterback I am now has just been it's been a fun ride.
You know, I had a real incredible experience last year. The college allowed me to travel with you guys to Minnesota. And I just watched the way that you interacted with your teammates during that time, and kind of, I felt like they gave me a new perspective on the leader that you are for this team. I mean, you're not the kind of quarterback that puts yourself on a pedestal or, you know, kind of separate. You're goofing around with the guys. You're right there with them. And you guys really seemed last year to have incredible chemistry. Did I read that right?
Oh, absolutely. It's you know, one thing a lot of teams do before games is you know, they're extremely serious, extremely uptight, but you know, I kind of take it the approach as I'm just like a little kid out there playing pee-wee football, and I just love the game, as do all my teammates. So we just try to keep it light, have a great time with each other. I mean, I bet every one of these guys on that travel squad would admit going to the hotel and hanging out the nights before the games, or you know, the trips on the buses are just as much fun, you know, as the games themselves. So you know, we just try to have a lot of fun, and you know, I try to do that as well.
I want to throw this out to both of you guys, and I guess, Troy, you can start, but there were two signature moments last year from my standpoint, and maybe there were more than that for you, but obviously the first one is that Grand Valley victory at home. Coming off a really disappointing loss to Findlay, I don't know how many people thought that you had a win over Grand Valley, the #1 team in the country, in you, but you did it. I mean, just talk about the feeling going into that game and actually making that victory come to life.
Yeah, I think Andre would probably say this too. Findlay was our worst game last year for sure. I mean, we were out of sync. We weren't clicking on offense. Our defense wasn't making the stops that they normally make. And, you know, I think I had like 17 incomplete passes in a row last year during that game. And it was just a terrible feeling. But I was really proud of the way we came back that Monday night, and we took the challenge of Grand Valley head on, and we just said, that loss is behind us, but we got to get better, we got to work, and we really believe that we could go out there and beat Grand Valley, and that was huge for us.
Yeah, we came into that game knowing that we had to beat Grand Valley to make it in the playoffs, and we definitely had the confidence in our team to do that and showed on the field, and that was just one of the greatest moments, especially when Mark Picho made that kick. I remember being really emotional, and it was just...
Well, people that don't understand that maybe don't understand the rivalry through the years and the history between those schools, but they've had our number for a long time, since the mid-1990s, and so to do something that, the seniors in front of you never did, that hadn't been done here in so long, is just incredibly exciting. I remember the banquet, and I've talked a little bit with Keg about this, but when Otter read that note about the fact that you guys were in, and Keg just about jumped over the table up top of that dais, that had to be an emotional moment for you guys too.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I remember just seeing Keg. He was just red like a tomato, just so excited. Everyone's just yelling and jumping up and down. It was awesome, and just a great opportunity for us.
Their coach, Troy, their coach was talking some smack at Minnesota State Mankato about how they had playoff experience, and they had the home game, and they were going to make that pay off, and all the rest of it. And I was reading all that stuff on the plane and the bus ride to the game, and I was hoping we'd kick their backsides and shut that guy up. It's easy for me as a broadcaster because I don't have to do anything on the field. You guys were not intimidated going into that game. You said that you were loose, and it was an entertaining ball game, obviously going into overtime. Just talk about the playoff win for the listeners.
Yeah, I think beating Grand Valley that season, we hadn't lost a game since Findlay, and beating Grand Valley gave us that confidence. We thought we could beat anyone, and we still do coming into this year. But, that was just going over there. The whole trip was awesome. We really believed we could do it, and getting out on that field, it doesn't matter what anyone else says. It's those 11 guys in the field at that given time on our side of the ball that believe it can happen, and the power of believing is unbelievable.
Can you grab Nick Hixson for me before he goes? Before I let you go, Troy, and I know that you guys are real busy tonight, but as far as the offense goes, Barry Fagan had been the coordinator here for quite a while. Obviously, he's down in Florida coaching. But as far as the philosophy goes, nothing's really changed, has it?
No, not too much. Obviously, Coach Fagan was a great football mind, but Coach Otter's brought his system along with him, where he's gone, and he does a great job on the offensive side of the ball. He's extremely smart. He knows how to call a great game. He always seems to get us into the right plays, and we're going to miss Coach Fagan, but I think as an offensive standpoint, we should be all right.
I asked him a question one time. I coached high school football for several years, and I asked him I kind of showed him something I was trying to do and what his opinion on it was. And an hour and a half later, we got done talking about it. And Fagan was incredible. I mean, he loved the sport was his life. He loved it so much. And he used to talk about watching film with you and Nicolay and the rest, and how much he enjoyed that time with you guys. And now with Nicolay here, he obviously played under Fagan. He's been in the system for a long, long time. But Otter called the plays. I don't know if everybody understands that. Otter was calling the plays anyway, right?
Yeah, so.
Does he ever say, okay, Troy, call whatever you want?
No, that doesn't happen. But a lot of times, we'll have he'll send in plays that are, one play. That's a huddle call, but at the same time, out of that, there's 2 or 3 variations that, depending on what I see out there on the field, I'll get us into. So, there's a little freedom there. He trusts me to get us into the right play, but Coach Otter's definitely in command.
Before I let you go, I've talked to Phil, and now we're talking with Troy. I want you to introduce the other captain here, Nick Hixson.
Nick Hixson, this kid's probably the best defensive back we got in the league. Me and Andre have been able to benefit off that for the last couple years that he's been here with us. Nick's also one of my great friends, and it's a privilege and honor to be a captain alongside him.
Nick Hixson, congratulations on being named a captain.
Thank you.
What was your thought when you heard that?
I'm speechless, I guess. That's a pretty bold statement. But like he said, going against these guys every day for the past 2 years has definitely made me who I am, going against Andre and Troy.
But I tell you, you're a junior, man.
Yeah.
To be named the captain as a junior, that's a big responsibility, and it's got to be really special.
Yeah, I'm very honored, and I'm glad to be a leader on this team.
Your secondary last year was young, and you guys were good. You and Joe Veer and Galvin out there laying lumber all over the field, and it just looked like you guys were having fun playing the game of football last year. Was I reading that right from the booth?
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of question marks about our secondary last year, but I don't think any of us on defense really doubted what we could do. I mean, Galvin, in the beginning, proved himself pretty early, so from the beginning we had a lot of confidence last year, so that gives us even more confidence coming into the next year.
Will you be in the return game again this year?
Yep, I'm returning
because
kicks.
when they made that switch about a third of the way through the season, you started returning the kickoffs. We were getting better field position. You look like you really jumped into that role pretty quickly. You got to be a little bit crazy though to do that, don't you?
Yeah, I got hit hard a couple times there. But yeah, I played quarterback in high school, and so I always tell these guys it's good to finally touch the ball. Playing DB, you crave to touch the ball. So when I get a couple touches a game, I try to make the most of it.
But you got all of these huge guys sprinting full tilt down the field, and you're going right back at them. You got to be a little nuts to do that. And I would think one of the fears or one of the drawbacks of that is you're so important as a defensive back that they don't want to lose you to injury doing that. I mean, is that a consideration too? You don't even worry about it.
I try not to worry about it. I think I've taken probably the hardest hit that I'll ever take already. And
Tell me about it. What game was that?
Minnesota State, Mankato. Troy knows that. He was my buddy on the sideline for keeping me straight about for the whole third quarter. But yeah, there was a kick. It was a kick return, the opening of the third quarter, I think, and I got absolutely lit up.
Troy and Nick, both of you guys obviously played high school football, and they say there's nothing like Friday Night Lights and all the rest, and the heck of it is, you guys get a chance to do that again this week. Under the lights, Friday night here at Hillsdale College. It's going to be a little different, huh?
Oh, yeah. That'd probably be the last time we play under the lights on Friday night, and like I said, like you just said, high school football is something special. I'll never forget about it. So I'm looking forward to playing Friday night.
Before I let you, a couple of the team captains here, I'm going to let you guys go here in just a second, but I don't know if you want to make this public or kind of talk about it in this respect, but I have to ask you the question. As far as the goals for this team, you had such an incredible season last year. How do you follow that up, and what are your goals as a team going into the year?
Well, the one thing that coach has been saying to us is last year. We can't bring the press clippings and show up and win ball games. We've got to come ready to play. This is a new team. This is new guys. Some guys are going to have to step up. But, we've got pretty lofty goals. Our first goal is to win a GLIAC championship, and that's been the goal since we've stepped foot on this campus. And, obviously we want to return to, national dominance. Hillsdale College has got great tradition, and, we're just lucky to put on this uniform every Saturday, and, we're going to try to make the most out of it.
We love watching you guys play. I can't thank you enough